All right, hello everybody. This is the first video lecture that I am doing. Remember we talked about on Thursday that I was going to be preparing lectures through video. I will also be doing other videos that I will want you guys to watch that's going to augment the reading material. So please be aware of that. My video lectures will probably be short when compared to the actual in-class lecture. And what I mean by that, it will probably last roughly 15 to 20 minutes depending on the video. Today's is really going to be rather short. I'm just picking up from where we left off for the assignment that I want you to do on Tuesday. And when we left off, we were talking about the stages of change. And when it comes to the stages of change in psychology, this is what we look at when we're trying to determine how ready a person is to change, and that's going to determine what interventions that we use. Now that's not really going to be important for you to know at this point. We'll talk about it more later when we get into the therapy chapter, which is chapter 16. So just to review, I know we talked about this in class, but I've prepared this PowerPoint, and if this recording is working correctly, you should be able to see the PowerPoint as well as a small box with my face in it. So let's just review. So in the stages of change, it's also known as the Transtheoretical Model of Change. You won't have to know that for the exam, but I think it's important to teach you where it comes from. And the Transtheoretical Model of Change was developed by Prochaska and D. Clementi. And what they described was a series of stages that people go through. As a matter of fact, there are 5 stages. In class, I also added a termination stage, which is not listed on this PowerPoint. So in pre-contemplation, that is the first stage. And this is a stage where people do not feel that they have a problem. There's not any reason for them to change, and they have no intention of changing. And the time frame for this is, if you were to ask them, do you have any intent on changing your drinking behavior, for instance, within the next 6 months? And the answer you're going to get is no. They may see a problem. They may have had a DUI, but at this stage, they're in denial. They're not accepting any responsibility. They tend to blame others, etc. So they really just don't see an issue with their actual behavior. And by the way, since this is a section on drug addiction, that's mainly what we're focused on. But the stages of change can be applied to any behavior change. Going to the gym, right, as an example. Changing nutritional habits, as an example, right? So, but today we're basically focused on drug addiction. So again, pre-contemplation, there is no intent to change within the next 6 months. And actually, pre-contemplation can last for a very, very long time. The next stage is contemplation. And in this stage, in the contemplation stage, ambivalence is the hallmark of this stage. And ambivalence is basically a word that means someone that is sitting on the fence. They are thinking about changing, but they are also thinking about maintaining their behavior. So in the example of drinking alcohol, it's like, yes, I'm having some problems. Yeah, maybe there's a possibility I need to change. I'm thinking about it, but I really still want to drink alcohol, right? So there's this teeter-totter. They're sitting on the fence. There's ambivalence. Yeah, that's the word I want you to learn, ambivalence. And if you ask them, they may state that they are thinking about the change and that that change may occur within 6 months. The next stage, stage 3, which is called preparation. Preparation stage of change is where people have basically made a commitment to make a change, and they are thinking about actually doing this change within the next 30 days. So preparation stage is sometimes known as like a transition stage. They have resolve their ambivalence. They're no longer sitting on the fence. They're in the process of making a decision, and they may be even trying small changes on their own. Maybe they've cut back their drinking a little bit. Maybe they've started to go to an AA meeting once or twice. So they're experimenting with little changes. Maybe they've called an outpatient program, and they're looking for resources or trying to figure out some strategies that's going to help them make their change. The next stage, stage 4, is the action stage. And this is where people have made overt and very perceivable changes in their behavior. So in other words, they have stopped drinking. Maybe they are now participating in an outpatient program. Maybe at this point they have a home group for an AA meeting and have chosen a sponsor, which is like a mentor, to help them explore the 12 steps, which is designed to help people change their behavior. So they're actually doing things. But this stage is 6 months or less. So in other words, they've made these changes, they're in the action stage, but their behavior changes is less than 6 months old. The last stage is known as the maintenance stage, and here people have incorporated all the changes from action, and they are working to consolidate their gains. They are continuing their lifestyle changes. People at this stage report higher levels of self-efficacy. In other words, the belief in themselves that yes, I can stay sober. If we're talking about alcohol, yes, I am making positive contributions. Yes, I can make amends for my past behavior. And so people at this stage are really on the cusp of really engaging in an entire new lifestyle. And people in this stage have usually been doing this for 6 months or more. The stage that we kind of talked about in class is also called the termination stage, and at the termination stage, this is where a person has completed the lifestyle change. It's no longer really an effort. It has become a way of life. It's just who they are now, and they are maybe if they're participating in AA, maybe they've become a sponsor or a mentor themselves. They're helping other people. There's no longer any other issues that are affecting them as the result of their previous behavior. In other words, going back to the example, drinking too much alcohol. Now, there's another thing that we talked about in class, and that was relapse. And relapse is technically, it is not a stage in the Transtheoretical Model of Change. What relapse is once a person has made their behavior changes, relapse is a situation in which a person reverts back to their old behavior. So they basically shoot out of the Transtheoretical Model of Change. They've gone back to their old behavior. They start drinking again or whatever it is. That's the worst case scenario. Best case scenario in that is also known as a lapse, and that's where a person may briefly engage in their old behavior. So something stressful comes up, they take a drink, and then they realize, oh no, what have I done? They might go call their sponsor, might talk to some other friends that have been helping them or supporting them in their recovery, and they get right back on the wagon. And a person that gets right back on the wagon may re-enter the stages of change, not at the very early stages like pre-contemplation or contemplation, and maybe even zoom past preparation. They might come right back into the action stage of change again and begin going back to those behaviors that help them get to maintenance. So sometimes the stages of change model is displayed in a circle where you have pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance, and then relapse goes off the circle, and then they can circle back in, back into their changes. So here is the assignment that I want you to do. On Canvas, I'm going to post 2 videos. They're both music videos. One music video is Johnny Cash doing a cover of a song called Hurt. It might be helpful if you listened to the video, watched the video, listened to the video a couple of times. And then the other video, it's a music video, is called Rehab by Amy Winehouse. And there are distinct differences between the 2 videos. And what I would like you to do for your assignment is to compare and contrast the 2 videos and do your best to determine what stage of change each person in the video is probably displaying. Now, I don't want you to get too freaked out about this assignment. It's really just designed to enhance your understanding of what we've been talking about, and I'm going to post a discussion, and I would like everyone to post their responses in the discussion page, and that's how you will get participation points. One last thing before I sign off on this recording, I'm about 12.5 minutes in, is that as we talked about, the homework assignments will continue. The paper assignment will continue. Just do your homework, do your readings, begin writing your paper. I'm going to be going into the system today and approving all the papers. If there's a problem with it, I will email you individually. But begin writing that, because that is what is going to help you with your grade at the end of this semester. I'm really hoping that this format works. It is not ideal. I realize that. I do appreciate your patience. I hope all of you are well, and I got to be honest, as I close out here, even doing this recording, I'm actually realizing how much I'm going to miss interacting with each of you. Yeah, this is not the way I wanted it to go, but it is what it is, and so we will do the best we can moving forward together. Also, be on the lookout for emails. I will probably be doing a lot of communication through emails, and hopefully this first test worked out. I'm about to find out because I'm going to play it again. And I'm sure you guys will completely enjoy me struggling through these recordings. Anyway, do well. Check Canvas frequently. And if you have any questions, please just email